Fuck you, Toaster! Hello, folks. It is I, Whattacatchdannie. There's construction going on outside. And you'll hear noises every now and then. Noises aside from my voice. My right eyeliner I'm not sure if you can see that. So it's like splattered. I accidentally poked my eye while applying mascara. It looks kind of legit, so I just didn't remove it. I am going to show you a really good article, and I don't mean that in a good sense. 11 reasons why life in the 70s and 80s was better than today. Seems kind of cool, but the problem is I didn't really know how bitter the author could get. Let's get started. 11 reasons why life in the 70s and 80s was better than today. Educating the kids on all they missed out on by John Markowski. My 13-year-old daughter and 17-year-old son have it all figured out. They've told me as much themselves. Because of that, I take every opportunity to knock them down a peg whenever I can. Just by the starting paragraph, I can understand if you're the older sibling and you think that your younger siblings are getting kind of, arrogant, but that's their dad talking. If I were to have a daughter, I won't show her up just to knock her down a peg. It's so weird. Parenting 101. Parents, please take note. This is how you're supposed to act like when your children get arrogant. You knock them down a peg. I don't build up their self-esteem as much as I manage it. And when I say manage, I mean a constant reminder that their shit does in fact stink from time to time. Parenting 102. The other day, I made the egregious mistake of allowing the kids to overhear me telling my wife, "Yes, hon, I did tape Real Housewives of Beverly Hills." Taped? They asked. On what? Like an old VCR tape? What are you, like 47 years old? Fuck right I am, you little bastards. No one says 47 years old. Like, are you 47 years old? It's gotta be at least just, are you 40 years old or are you 50 years old? That is suspiciously specific. After the tongue lashing they received for disrespecting an elder, I ran off a list of,
"You think you have it great now in 2019? You should have seen how freaking awesome we had back in 1982. I almost feel sorry for you."
Whatever you too young to be a millennial have been, Whatever you too young to be a millennial have been categorized as. Tongue lashing sounds like a weird term. Like, it sounds oddly sexual. Or verbally abusive. So here is that list. Oh, teach us, John Markowski. Old school sliding cable box. How does this work? We had hours of fun trying to devise an instrument that we could use to reach the slider so we could change the channels without getting up from our pastel-colored couches. We innovated too, you annoying hipster. Who's fighting him on this? Collect calls. You kids simply text us when baseball practice is over. I used to call collect. I'm not taking the time to explain here, I'm too good for that. And my parents know to decline, which meant I was ready to be picked up after basketball practice. So apparently basketball is better than baseball. To make it even more fun, I used to make up names when calling. That is such a weird flex. He sounds like that kid who tries to sound cool by saying that he does really hardcore pranks, but we have a collect call from Richard Hertz. Do you accept the call? A true hoot. That sounds really fun. Really. That sounds really, really fun. The fun that was desperately trying to find a gas station when we feared that our totally inaccurate gas gauge said we needed gas. Here's the game. We're running on fumes and pull up to a stop sign. Each person in the vehicle had to guess which way, left or right, leads to the next available gas station. It looks busier on the left. It looks more industrial to the right. There was no Google to let us know the exact coordinates where we could refuel, so instinct ruled. It is too easy now with your super accurate gas gauge. Boring. Why is he being so judgmental? Like, if you hate recent technology, you're free to go back and, degrade all your stuff. Downgrade all your stuff. Just, fuck you, toaster. I don't even know. There was no Google to let us know. Then don't use Google the next time you go out. Buy a fucking old car. Don't complain when you can do something about it. I have no idea how this list is a flex. Because so far, John Markowski has not convinced me that life was better in the 70s and 80s. Great Space Coaster. I see you on Snapchat when you're eating breakfast or watching another YouTube video that consists of 97% screaming, dull to the max. We have the joy of television as the only option in the morning, and nothing was better than the Great Space Coaster. Nothing is better than to have no choices at all. That's how it's coming across. Why are you so bitter against people who are younger than you? It's eerily specific. Why is he eerily specific all the time? He's basically bullying his kids through the internet. Seriously, kids, YouTube that shit and then get back to me. Okay, I'm gonna try to tube this. And then I'll get back to you, John. Seatbelts. I love this one. You're a very soft generation. Back in my day, we didn't have any seatbelts. Back in my day, we blew off seatbelts and even hung out in the middle of the front seat. Beat that. Yes, a middle front seat existed and it was awesome. It was a rite of passage to slam your head on the vinyl dashboard. That was some clean fun. Okay, I get the middle front seat part. That sounds really cool. That sounds like I would have wanted to try sitting in the middle front seat. But what is your thing against seatbelts? Just because we wear our seatbelts? I'm trying to understand his logic here. Okay, so back in his day, they didn't wear seatbelt because there was a middle front seat. So they didn't give a fuck about seatbelts. Therefore, since we give a fuck about seatbelts and we don't have any, is the seatbelt thing related to the front middle seat then? Why can't they just put a seatbelt for the middle of the front seat? I don't get the logic. I really don't. We weren't the ones who created the... I don't think it was our generation that settled removing the middle front seat. This is what bugs me about the 70s and 80s men. It's that if you risk yourself more, if you don't care about danger, that makes you tough. I get it, but sometimes the stupidity cancels out the toughness. Just, ooh, look at me. I'm not wearing a seatbelt. Oh, I'm muy macho. No DVR. We had appointment television. The best. No tape and watch at your convenience. Oh, no tape and watch at your convenience. The world was watching the same show at the same time and the bonding was palpable. There are apps now that streams shows and lets you and another friend watch it at the same time while talking. You could be on different sides of the world. I don't know if you know this, John, but there are time zones and not all of us could watch TV at the exact same time. Because your time is different from my time. And I'm really sorry, but we can't oogle at Daisy Duke together. Is it oogle or ogle? I don't know. Dinner sans devices. No collective diversion of devices while eating. No eating in the car on the way to practice. We always ate around the dinner table and talked. One day, I'll explain to you the concept of talking. I think you'll find it fascinating. Why does he sound so angry? He's so angry. See, here, John, Parent 103, you can make the rules for your children to follow. Like, if I ever had a daughter, or a son, or a tokwa, right? During mealtime, I would ask them not to use their devices because it only takes about 10 to 15 minutes to eat. 10 to 20, whatever. It's never a problem for me not to use my phone or any technology during meal times. So I don't understand why he's demonizing devices. Like, you could still eat. You could still establish a boundary that no devices should be on the table. it just boggles me. Like, I could just imagine John being the kind of parent who would say nothing at his kids' faces, and then afterwards he would go online on Reddit or something and just complain about how shitty his kids are without actually communicating what he wants from them. Like, he doesn't communicate, which is quite ironic, since he offered to explain the concept of talking. You don't make sense, John. You don't make sense. I had to stop recording because my camera got too hot. Anyway, music on cassettes, Pandora, Spotify, and Apple Music, way too convenient. You haven't lived until you mastered knowing what song would be playing on the other side of the cassette when you flipped it over, or incorporating the mechanical sounds of the tape recorder when creating a mixtape. Authenticity at its finest. Oh, that's the last one. Okay, so that was the last one. If you don't like convenience, then you can live that way. I've had it with parents who keep telling their children, oh, we've had it way harder than you. Oh, we had to cross a river, climb a mountain to get to school every day. Oh, we had to walk on the streets on our bare feet. We had only 25 cents, yada yada. Like, we understand and we appreciate you wanting to be successful, but I'm pretty sure that we weren't on your minds when you were going through that. Not like, oh, okay, I'm gonna climb a mountain and fight sharks and walk over crocodiles just to tell my future kid what I did for them. Did anyone think like that? Please, be honest with me. Did you think like that? I don't understand why parents always have to guilt trip their children. I'm pretty sure it could be because that's how your parents treated you. The way your parents treated you doesn't have to be a reference on how you should treat your children. Times are changing. I'm not sure if you want to hear that because John Markowski really doesn't want to, but guilt tripping is a toxic trait. Like, yeah, you've been through a hard time, but please don't invalidate the fact that your kids go through hard times as well. Sure, it might be not hard for you, but that doesn't give you the right to tell them that you've had it harder, okay? And I'm sorry if you're offended by being told off by a 23-year-old girl in a third world country, but your children don't owe you, is what I'm saying. Nobody owes you. Please remove that sense of entitlement. That doesn't mean I'm telling you to disregard what you've been through, or that doesn't mean I'm invalidating what hard times you went through. I'm just saying the fact that all of these experiences, all of these past experiences, shouldn't be used as debt. But yeah, John Markowski. John Markowski. I hope you apologize to your kids for being a shit parent. I can't believe you get offended by your own kids. Sure, it could be offensive, but instead of writing a bitter, salty article on it and being bitter and salty with your words, why don't you try to communicate, the concept of talking? Have you heard of that? Anyway, didn't mean to sound so negative. It's just pretty sick of this toxic trait that most parents have. For us kids, it's not really helping anyone. I don't know, man. But I consider it as a toxic trait. I don't know about you guys, but I hate it when parents guilt trip their kid. Stay away from that kid, okay? They don't owe you shit. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to become a catch today. I hope we've learned something here, huh, John Markowski? Oh, you toxic son of a bitch. Anyway, bye guys.